Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 26th of December. Former Indian Air Force chief granted bail in chopper scam. Dhaka crackdown reveals a radical militant told wife to blow herself up. And northern India turns white as hill towns get season's first snowfall. And now for all the details. Former Indian Air Force Chief SP Tyagi was granted bail on Monday by a court in capital New Delhi in the Augusta Westland case. Tyagi, along with his cousin and a Delhi-based lawyer, was arrested by the CBI in the VVIP helicopter bribery case. Imposing several conditions on his release, the court said Tyagi cannot leave the country without its permission. Tyagi was arrested for allegedly receiving kickbacks from middlemen hired by the helicopter manufacturer Augusta Westland for granting undue favors. Moving on, news from Afghanistan. The Afghan Senate has approved a law on prevention and prohibition of harassment of women and children in the country.
The upper house of the Afghan parliament, known as Meshrano Jirga, on Sunday approved the law on prevention and prohibition of the harassment of women and children in Afghanistan. Under the law, jail terms and cash fines will be imposed on the perpetrators committing harassment against women and children. Reports say that many women in Afghanistan commit self-immolation and suicide because they are harassed beyond their patience and finally lose their tolerance. Women in the patriarchal Afghan society have been living under subjugation and suppression, the worst scenario being during the Taliban regime. Though women are now coming forth in various fields and proving their mettle, much has to be done to secure their rights and safety in the war-torn country.
And news from Bangladesh. The latest report in the women's suicide bombing case in Dhaka says that the woman was instructed by her husband to blow herself up. This is the first incident of its kind in Bangladesh where a woman turned into a jihadist, killing herself.
Islamist militant Mainul Musa, leader of the Neo Jamaatul Mujahideen Bangladesh or JMB, ordered his wife Trisha Moni to wear a suicide vest and blow up herself along with their 4-month-old daughter instead of surrendering to law enforcers, authorities said. They added that Moni had decided to surrender due to her motherly love of the baby, but sensing that police had encircled the den, Moni communicated with her husband using an encrypted app for advice. Musa then asked his wife and all other women to wear the suicide vests and blow themselves up, officials said. On Saturday, Moni detonated the suicide vest, killing herself and injuring a child, marking the first case of a woman turning into a suicide bomber in Bangladesh. This happened when officials of counter-terrorism and transnational crime raided her house in Ashkona in a drive to arrest her husband Musa. Musa is a listed terrorist in Bangladesh, helming the Neo-JMB group inspired by the ideologies of the Islamic State. The group is said to be behind the terror attack at a cafe in Dhaka on July 1st, in which 22 people were killed.
The Wagah border in India's northern Punjab province is famous as people get the chance to see the closely guarded border and the life of soldiers. India has now opened a border viewing point in its western boundary with Pakistan in Gujarat province for public viewing to promote border tourism.
India has opened its western boundary with Pakistan in Banaskantha district of Gujarat province for public viewing to promote border tourism. The border viewing point at Nadabet in Sui village became the second place after Wagah border in northern Punjab province. Initially, the facility will be open for visitors on weekends, where personnel of Border Security Force or BSF will perform a retreat parade and play fusion band. A camel show and bird watching will be the other attractions.
गुजरात गवर्नमेंट और बीएसएफ ने साथ मिलकर सीमा दर्शन, बॉर्डर टूरिज्म, मीट द बॉर्डर, किस द बॉर्डर, बॉर्डर से प्रेम करो, बॉर्डर के जवानों का हौसला बढ़ाओ और आप यहां बॉर्डर में 0 पॉइंट तक आइए, बॉर्डर देखिए, पाकिस्तान सामने देखिए, अपने जवान जिस तरीके से देश की सुरक्षा रक्षा कर रहा है उससे भी मिलिए, उनकी परेड देखिए और उनका हौसला बढ़ाइए।
The Tourism Corporation of Gujarat has also created a selfie zone and a tower for the tourists to enjoy the view of the border.
Meanwhile, snowfall in India's northern hill towns is adding to the Christmas charm for revelers. Various parts of North India also witnessed drop in the temperatures.
Northern parts of India, including provinces of Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir and Uttarakhand, received the first snowfall of the season on Sunday, bringing cheer to Christmas revelers. In the hill town of Shimla, roads, trees and rooftops were covered with snow, presenting an enchanting view to the tourists and residents. Locals welcomed snowfall, saying they expected to attract more tourists in the coming days.
अभी आने वाले दिनों में जो न्यूनतम तापमान है इसमें और गिरावट आ सकती है। जो अभी 1-2 दिन मौसम अगले दिनों में साफ रहेगा, लेकिन एक और फ्रेश वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंस अप्रोच करेगी 28 तारीख को, जिसका इफेक्ट हिमाचल प्रदेश में भी हल्का हो सकता है।
While snowfall ended the dry spell in the region, drop in temperature saw people huddled near tea stalls around small bonfires. The neighbouring hill town of Dharamshala also received snowfall. The snow-capped hills added to the beauty of Dharamshala, a favourite destination for tourists during the winters. Temperature in northern provinces plunged below normal due to snowfall in the hill stations, leading people to wrap in bundles of clothes.
Weddings in India is a costly affair. However, group weddings are becoming very popular, especially among the economically backward sections. Over 200 couples tied the nuptial knot at a mass wedding ceremony in India's western Gujarat province.
"236 couples tied the nuptial knot at a mass wedding ceremony in Surat city of India's western Gujarat province on Sunday. All the girls were orphans and came from different religious backgrounds. The ceremonies were conducted according to the religions the couples belonged to. The event was organized by a city businessman, Mahesh Savani, who has married off more than 600 poor girls since 2008.
और जिसको पापा के छत्र छाया है, जिसका पापा ये दुनिया में नहीं है, ये सभी बेटियों के मैरिज की ये शादी है। और हम ये चाहते हैं कि हमारी ये बेटी है कि जो सपने देखे थे उसके पापा के हयाती में वो कोई भी सपना अधूरा नहीं रहना चाहिए। वो बेटियों के सभी जो भी सपने थे वो सभी सपने पूरे होना चाहिए।
Savani spent about $1.04 million as he gave away jewelry and cash to the girls, besides meeting all the wedding expenses.
मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं था कि मेरे पापा के जाने के बाद मेरी इतनी अच्छी शादी जैसे मेरे पापा करवा रहे। मैं हमेशा यही सोचती कि जब मेरे सपने हमेशा सपने बन के रह जाएंगे, लेकिन मेरे सब मेरे हर सपने पूरे कर रहे।
Relatives and friends also joined in the celebrations to bless the newlyweds. Group weddings are becoming very popular in India. Several voluntary organizations and individuals are now campaigning against high-cost weddings and social evils like dowry by hosting mass weddings.
Forest officials and volunteers across the Gir Wildlife Sanctuary and the peripheral areas in India's westernmost Gujarat province have conducted the first ever crocodile census. A report.
Around 300 forest officials and volunteers fanned out across the Great Wildlife Sanctuary and the peripheral areas in the first ever crocodile census conducted by the Forest Department on Thursday. The teams covered a 6.21 miles radius around the sanctuary where crocodiles have been seen in sizable numbers but never officially counted. The entire sanctuary has been divided into 13 zones and 120 subzones for counting. The officials have used direct and indirect sighting methods for counting the reptiles. The counting concluded on Monday, however, official data is yet to be released.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Former Indian Air Force chief granted bail in chopper scam. Dhaka crackdown reveals the radical militant told wife to blow herself up. And northern India turns white as hill towns get season's first snowfall. Now viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.